Okay, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to make a juice with the juicing machine, and you'd be surprised how much you can get into one juice. I went ahead and pre-washed all this. If you need me to show you how to wash your vegetables and your fruit, then you're in bigger trouble than I thought. 3 apples, 5 carrots, and about 6 ounces of chopped kale. The apples we need to cut into quarters. But before I get into that, I'm going to show you how to assemble this one. It's a rather simple, cheap one, but it works. Strainer. The residue goes into that compartment. This is where the juice goes as it's being created. The top, which needs to be bolted on. Up over, just like a clip on a toolbox, and then lock it into place. Okay, and this is what we use to push it into the machine. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and chop these apples into quarters. And we're just going to go ahead and put it in, seeds and all. No big deal. Some people take the time to core the apple, take out the fruit, the seed, I mean. I don't really bother with any of that. I find that all that work is really pointless. So there we go. All this is going to fit into one juice, hopefully. I've timed it out before. The kale, we're going to probably start in with that. When you push this down into the machine, you're going to want to go fairly slow, because kale is a rather dry leaf. You want to get as much moisture out of that as you can. And it's going to be a little too noisy to talk about it once we start juicing, so we'll have to just watch at that point. Fit as much as we can in there. Make it pretty dense. Otherwise those leaves are going to rip into the residue compartment, and we don't want that. And then we'll go ahead and juice everything else rather quickly. You can put a whole apple in there if you'd like, but it tends to be rather rough on the machine, so I don't really suggest it. And here we go. Now on this machine, I have to let it sit for a little bit because some juice tends to continue dripping out. If I remove the container too quickly, then it drips onto the counter, and I don't like that. And as you can see, that's a little bit separated. So I am going to toss it back and forth in the glass I'm drinking out of in order to mix it up a little bit. But just so you can see it, doesn't look all that appetizing. There's a lot of solids in there, but that's good for you. It's a lot of fiber. And this is a good way to use all that extra produce that you may have in your fridge. I like to have produce at all times, but unfortunately that means sometimes if you don't end up eating it before it goes bad, or you think it's going to go bad, then you can go ahead and do this instead. So this is a very handy machine to have around. Now as far as cleaning goes, as you can see, it does make a bit of a mess. Okay, this is the top. And the screen is the part that you really need to take the most care of. As you can see, as I was afraid of it dripping a little bit right here. There's usually a little brush that will come with your machine to clean that screen off. You want to be very diligent with that. And then this is the pulp that is left over, which is actually surprisingly dry. It just sort of crumbles. And that can go down your garbage disposal, or you can put it in the trash if you think you're taking the trash out rather soon. This part then comes off. We'll clean this too. And get this out of the way. So I hope that was rather educational for you. As far as the recipe for this juice, the kale can be a little bit overwhelming, but the carrots are actually rather sweet when juiced, and the apples kind of cover up the taste of everything. If you want a little extra sweetness without sugar, you could also use some shaved ginger from some actual fresh ginger root. That's it for today.